Good morning. Welcome to HOAG Money. It's December 1st. We have these markets in some very interesting situations. This should be, at least I'm hoping to be, a very fun, informative, and educational HOAG Money. They got these markets in out of balance and with some possibly bigger opportunities. We don't know what's going to happen. We're going to take a look. This is the CFTC disclaimer. We should know it by heart by now. There's a lot of risk in futures. These are leveraged products. You could risk more than your original investment. We should only be using risk capital, which is money that we can afford to lose. We're not going to be making any representation that anybody should be buying or selling any of these products. What we're doing here today isn't a live account, and it is for strictly educational purposes only. Hypothetical or simulated performance results have certain limitations because there is no consequence, no rules, and no accountability for simulated trading. That's why the combine is so helpful and useful to traders, because you have that accountability, consequence, and rules. Succeed in the trading combine, you won't have to put up your risk capital. You will put up ours for you. Rules of HOAG Money. Kindness and respect are expected above everything. Of course, there's many different opinions about markets. Nobody knows what's going to happen. We're going to have a couple of people enabled to talk. I see Randolph, my brother, is here. We're going to have Randolph come in and join us. If anybody else would like to talk, you can either tell me in the chat room or just raise your hand. We're going to use we're all going to be involved in the decisions here. Of course, if you're coming up with a trade, the context of the trade is going to be helpful. If you are unable to speak, you will be able to share your charts. We're going to use the chat room to discuss trades and the polling system in the Zoom room to make those choices. So if you're watching on YouTube, you won't have the opportunity to vote for the trades. However, I will be keeping an eye on the chat to see any ideas and thoughts that you are posting in the chat room. So please feel free to do so. I will also be watching the chat room in the Zoom meeting, so we will see what we're doing here. So again, we're focusing for now with HOAG Money only on the E-mini S&Ps or the micro S&Ps. We're not going to trade just to trade. We're not going to take losing trades, which is of course a joke. We know there's going to be losses in trading. We have to accept them, cut them, and move on. Feedback for HOAG Money is of course vital. You can send feedback to Jay Hoagland, to JHOAGLAND at Top Step, and I'd appreciate any feedback that you have. Here's the platform. We know we are out of balance. Here's the high yesterday. Here's the M base of the late spike, the L base of the late spike. What are the spike rules again? Well, if we open above a late spike, that's the highest probability of acceptance of higher pricing. So it looks like we'll be maybe looking for opportunities to look for longs. This is the NASDAQ. There we go. We have weekly kickoff just above 41.23. We have a naked point of control that was pointed out during the forecast up at 41.38, which is just right up here, 38 quarter. So we'll keep an eye out for that as well. Let's see here. Let me, Spencer, you got your hand up. You want to talk today? Yeah, right. All right, I'll get you. Hang on. Rick, promoting you to panelist. Randolph. Spencer, promoting you to panelist. So Spencer liked the idea of point of failure as the cheapest entry. In other words, at what level of sellers breach it will buyers capitulate? The failure level is where I want to buy. Always be thinking about that point of failure to get your entries, right, Fred? Think about 40.60 down here as base of the late spike entry, below the base of the late spike. Yeah, when we look at this, though, Fred, I mean, the whole afternoon was basically a late spike. This market was knocked out of balance drove above the short time frame balance we've been in, continued to seek two-sided trade, which it has yet to find.
Where's VWAP?
VWAP. How you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you?
All right. Randolph. Hang on a second.
I want to see a retest of 40.50 and see if it holds.
I had to reboot here. Now we've got our VWAP. 40.87. So you want to go all the way back to last week's high. 40.50.
A month high on September 12th is 41.10.
September, okay.
September 12th.
Back here, so this swing high.
So that'd be a key.
Well, I'm seeing that a lot higher than.
Some S&P 500, 40.
Maybe a continuation chart?
4110.41 on September 11th. At least on my chart.
Yeah, I think you're off a little bit there.
It would be the first time.
Because this is the December contract here. So if you're looking at a continuation chart, that's usually going to be a little bit different. But it has the 13th as the high.
For on September 12th?
Yeah, September 12th. It's got the high at 41.75.
Yeah, take out the wick.
Oh, so you're looking at that candle body high. So that's the open 41.3750, which puts us right where that 41.38 naked point of control is. All right, so we're out of balance.
Just because we're opening out of balance for the first time in about 2 weeks, I really like the idea of an opening range trade.
I was just gonna ask. Do we do the opening range trade? Here is the poll. How you doing, Spencer?
Oh, I've been good, John. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, it's nice to hear from you. We got Joe. Joe D's coming in as a panelist as well. We got a good panel here. Wow, look at this.
Yeah, I'm getting my number off that MSN money thing, so I wouldn't.
Yeah, that's probably a continuation chart where it just follows the front month.
So your opening trade, what are you looking at?
Well, we're talking about the opening range trade, whichever side the opening range breaks out of.
I have no idea which way the market's going to go this morning, but because it's so far out of balance, I have a feeling it's going to make a move seeking a new balance area, one direction or the other.
And that's exactly right. That's exactly what I'm thinking. So we got the 1 minute chart up here. We got about a minute and a half before the opening range, and we're going to take this opening range trade. I'm hoping it's not huge.
As I said, I'm not going to be a believer on this as a bull rally until it tests 40.50.
40. You want it to pull back a little bit, which would give us a nice.
We need to go down there looking at the longer term chart. 40.50 is key.
Yeah, it would give us a nice pullback for an opportunity.
Test it and reject it or break it, and then
and go.
Try to retest it from the downside and then sell it.
Mm-hmm.
Good morning, John.
Good morning, Joe. How are you?
I'm doing fine.
Good. What's happening?
I get on here late, but I'm looking for a responsive trade down. I'd love to see it hit the top of a big low volume node that put in yesterday. Draw it wherever you want, but somewhere between 40.50 and 40.60.
Right in here. Got it.
Yep. We got that pink line right at 40.50. What is that for?
The last week's high.
Huh?
Last week's high.
Okay. See, that was a couple highs and a couple of lows in the past, so that's why it's a key.
Mm-hmm.
Double.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, it's a nice round number, kind of.
So here we got the opening range 93.5 to 97.5, 4 points right now.
Stretching lower.
Six points. 20 seconds in. Yeah, it's already getting pushed.
That's getting big.
8 points now. Come back. Okay, now we're in 89 quarter, 89 even. So we've got our brackets in for either way the opening range goes. And it's pretty big. It's bigger than I normally like, but the market is in, a more volatile situation here, right?
John, 4,100 is a huge gamma level. There's huge call concentration that's been in the books for weeks.
Okay.
At 4,100. So this is an area where the dealers are very, very active in balancing their books.
The triggers some hedging flows.
This 105 area, the DXY and the dollar is key also.
On the dollar index, why?
Well, you just chart it back. It's been recently, a lot of it held on the
August.
stuff, trying to get through it, and then once it got through it, it held on the upside for quite a while, and now we're right there again
Got it.
for a swing trade. I mean, just watching the dollar.
We're in.
Yep.
Just Powell talk doesn't mean inflation's going away.
No, right? Right.
Yeah. There's a lot going on.
Mm-hmm. And we're still waiting for, more information today.
Fucking feds.
Yeah. Logan was speaking a little while ago, I believe.
Yeah.
Bowman speaking now. Not seeing too much on what they're saying here just yet in the wires. I don't know how they could shed any more sunshine on these markets than Powell did yesterday.
Yeah.
There's always the possibility that the market could just paint a balance area right around the open today, but I was assuming that was the least likely scenario to play out.
That entered my mind too, because whenever I get, really excited, it goes range bound.
Yeah, if this trade stops out, I'll wait for the initial balance to form before I make another trade.
So Fred's got an interesting question here. Do we take the opening range trade just because we got the long now, or what if it takes out the low of the opening range? Do we look for that to continue? Let's vote on that. If the opening range fails and we take out the low of it, do we short it? We do not have a mandate for that. We're just about even. More no.
Wait for more information.
Wait for more information. Here's the results.
John, I mentioned that 4,100. I don't know whether it's coincidental or not, but there's a huge liquidity level there.
Okay.
41.
It would make sense, right?
Magnet.
Yeah.
Would make sense. Let's see if we can go up there and get to the point of greatest aggravation.
And liquidity's filling in between here and 41.
Okay.
Did you talk about the big low volume node that we left yesterday? We left a couple of them.
I have not yet.
Those would be key areas, I would think.
Yeah, the close yesterday moved volume point of control all the way up to the close. There was a crap
Huge
load of
volume, right?
Massive.
Juan, I just put the link to the Zoom meeting in the chat room on YouTube.
Internals are strong, bullish. Not surprising. We get
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and above the late spike.
Yeah.
So, we're looking at the New York Stock Exchange volume. It was 81% higher than the previous day. 6.3 billion. Day before, 3.4 billion. Pretty big volume on that push. Okay, Zach, why is my delta reading different than yours? 2,500, 30. Okay, early in the session, it seems to be a little askew. Zach, on my other platform here, I'm seeing delta at negative 2,500. So it's negative, but the TS trader is showing a little bit more. That should even out throughout the day. You're at negative 1,700. Zach, do you have it zeroing out at 8:30?
Well, I'm not loving this trade this morning.
No, me either. But here we are, and I mean, by all rights, it's still valid.
Still valid. The market seems to be trying to decide which direction it wants to trade in right now.
Chop. Yeah. Hang on a second. So I've got it starting at 8 o'clock, a half hour before. That seems to help. It's got to be session, 8 o'clock. Try that. So we're still about 700 off.
When I make an opening range trade, I want it to rip faster than I can trail my stop loss.
Right. Yeah, we're not seeing that, are we?
Big rally off the open, we're not getting it.
Mm-mm. Mortimer, or Randolph, I mean, we did trade down to the VWAP here on the opening range. Pretty much. You can see it here.
Okay, I was moving some positions around.
Got it.
Oh, here it goes.
Oh, wait, I gotta move this. Oh. I can't put it one tick outside the opening range. Sometimes it comes down and gets one.
I usually leave about 4 ticks.
That's about right,
A
right?
little poke.
Right.
But it just bounced off the bottom of the opening range. So far, it's holding. There it
There
goes.
it goes. Take out those little stops and then
couple
whip
of stops there
and then whip around and go the other way.
and bounce. Let's go.
Although the internals are positive here, they're both trending down below my VWAP, and we're below the developing volume point control. So
Yeah,
that all evidence pointing down.
where is your VWAP anchored at?
At the open,
At the open, okay.
I'm around 93, 94 VWAP, and developing point of control was at 95.
Right.
I'm the papa.
And I've got lower lows and lower highs on my tech shot from the open.
A
From the
little,
high.
little short time frame, one time framing lower.
Yeah.
You know, I run two VWAPs. I run a continuous VWAP on my 30-minute chart, and then I have one anchored to the open on the 1-minute chart.
Mm-hmm.
And I've noticed the anchored VWAP is a lot more of a relevant reference point than the continuous VWAP. Price interacts with it a lot more.
Where do you anchor it?
I anchor it right to the open on my 1-minute chart, so it'll set right at the open, and then it'll follow price as the day progresses. And I've noticed doing it that way, price will bounce off of that a lot more often. Whereas my VWAP on the 30-minute chart that isn't anchored, price just kind of wanders back and forth through it like it doesn't mean anything.
Where is your 30-minute VWAP anchored at the open, at the evening open?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's where this one
actually,
is.
Let me double check.
Yeah, that's where this one is. Yeah.
What's yours based on?
This is based off the open from 5 o'clock last night.
The VWAP?
Yeah.
I mean, duration. 15 minutes, 30 minutes?
Well, what doesn't matter the time.
Okay.
It's just where it's based from, right? So it starts at the open last night at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
And why do you do that, John?
It's just what it does. I haven't changed it. It's not even really a tool that I use. I put it on for Randolph.
I use it as a profit target a lot.
A lot of people watch
Never
it.
as an
so, yeah.
entry point.
Or exit.
Yeah. I look at VWAP similar to moving averages. Like moving averages, I don't think of them as ever being support or resistance. I think of them as a path that price is eventually going to return to. So it's a good profit target.
More of a context tool than a target or an exit, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
I like to anchor VWAPs. I have one going from the high of the year and the low of the year.
Huh.
And I have them from the latest CPI and the latest PPI. And by the way, after yesterday, we're above all four of those.
Okay.
So I like to anchor them from key events. Since we had such a huge volume event yesterday,
Right.
when I get around to it, I'll anchor it from yesterday. And they tend to be very, very good, I think, anyway. Support resistance wise.
I know Randolph's been touting their magical abilities to me, so that's why I've got them on here, just kind of learning about them now. Well, I mean, I've known about them, but
Brian Shannon, he's really the godfather of these anchored VWAPs. Alpha Trends.
okay.
And he's coming out with a book. He's trying to get it out by Christmas.
Oh,
Full things on anchored VWAPs.
cool. You can get it out for the Christmas shoppers.
I think the main reason VWAP is so significant is just because so many traders have it on their chart, honestly.
Mm. Well, and your longer time frame traders use it as a guide to, if they have a whole lot of buying to do, they want to buy below VWAP.
Right, beat VWAP.
Beat VWAP.
A lot of day traders use it too.
Mm-hmm.
Scalpers.
Well, we just brought the lower lows, lower highs on the micro chart, micro intraday chart.
S&P Global Manufacturing PMI just came out at 47.7, 0.1 over estimate. So basically on target.
Thank you.
That liquidity is still in at 4,100. They haven't pulled it.
Got it.
Well, let's trade up there and fill it. Come
Yeah,
on.
let's go.
Got some customers up there. We need to service them.
Let's get them in.
When you have a big call level like this, the way I understand it is that, those holders of those calls are, a lot of them are in the money, and the implied volatility is expanding, so that's profitable for them. So a lot of them are taking profits, so they're selling their calls, which means the dealers are on the other side of that, which means they're short. They're long, so they have to short futures to balance it.
Right. To get delta neutral.
Exactly. So that's why you have so much activity around these huge gamma levels, as they call them, where all these call positions are.
Hey, we're above the opening range.
Hey.
That took a while.
Yeah, that only took 15 minutes.
Hold it.
Yeah, let's get some momentum going here. Fred, to your question, I have a tendency to overmanage my stops, but do we want to tighten the stop on the long trade as a sort of time stop?
Boy, the center of this opening range is like a magnet.
Yeah.
We haven't significantly violated it to the downside.
Right.
We just poked a couple ticks through, so I still feel like the trade's valid.
That's what I was just going to say to Fred is, if I felt as though the trade was losing validity, I would probably tighten up the stop.
I would just pull it.
Just get out of it,
Pull
right?
it.
But I think there's still I think it's still valid. I mean, we took out the low, we took out the little stops below it. 2 ticks is all we went through it. So I think it's still valid, and I don't want to tighten it up because every time I do that, I get taken out of a good trade.
There's nothing more frustrating than getting stopped out early and then watching it go your direction. I hate that worse than taking a losing trade.
Right. Andrew is saying in YouTube, it needs to break 100, break 4,100, and stay above it.
Sure does.
That would help us, wouldn't it? It would help
That's the line in the sand right now.
It would help our cause. A lot of liquidity up there, Joe is saying.
Here
Ben.
we go. Let's push a new high.
We got quite the chat going on here. We got Ben coming in now. Fan favorite.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ben. How are you?
Well, I I guess I'm firing on all cylinders, but I couldn't fall asleep till the time I normally get up.
Oh no.
Oh, that's the worst.
Don't take anything I say with a grain of salt. How about that?
Well, it's I'm sorry you didn't sleep well.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because I made this curry thing with rice and potatoes, too much carbs, and it turned to sugar. I have no idea. Yeah. Well, actually, what I wanted to weigh in on, maybe kind of dissipating, and what I wanted to point out, but just more about not necessarily take a contrary position, but just to add caution, because it's of what's not happening and some other things that have happened. Let me see if it still looks good. I had to move the screens around. Yeah, I can share a couple things that may help, unless it just rips right through the upside, and well, it's starting to do that. So it looks like they're going for the high, so I'll just refrain.
Okay, let me know if you want to.
Well, I could just tell you without sharing the screen.
Okay.
So we had that overnight high, right?
Right.
And, a lot of the overnight was generally rotational.
Correct. Yep.
Higher, so it's been a pause, right? So we've got a pause and coming the open. We've had a lot of news, and only now it seems to be moving. But the news is going to weigh into it. But what I was looking at is this: we had a overnight high, which hadn't been taken out until coming up on right now. Then we had over a couple hours coming into the open, we had another swing high in the overnight, and a lower high. Then in the open, the high up until just a few minutes ago was lower than that.
Mm-hmm.
Take out the swing high.
Mm-hmm.
And then another thing you mentioned that touched the VWAP or something overnight. I had one on the overnight at 4,088. So anyway, I've got 3 10-minute TPO bars that form a poor low right on that. And time and again, you kind of get with the 10 minutes, you kind of can get a foreshadowing of what may happen in 30 minutes.
Got it.
So so that's one thing I was looking at, just to say, hey, this may not be an extended day like yesterday. There may be, because they may have to flush out weaker hands.
Sure.
To take it high.
Sure.
And that may be something we see, some kind of, maybe fib retracement or 50% taken. A lot of times I'll see profit taking, it literally goes to 50%, even though people say it's not a fib number, works kind of the same. But so up until a minute ago, I was kind of liking the idea that this may not be going anywhere. But that's all I wanted to say, and it has gone somewhere, so. I just think it may be limited. We may take out the overnight high, and I'm not getting the sense of big players in here right now, other than maybe the just the churning is just maybe positioning.
Right.
I don't know. That's all I wanted to add.
Okay. Well, thank you.
The activity more likely the dealers hedging, especially at this level.
So, Joe, I'm hoping you're putting together a presentation on this stuff.
The gentle lady that used to be on this.
Anne-Marie.
Anne-Marie.
Talk about. She's the one to talk about it.
I'm speaking to her today.
Turn on the charm.
What's her name? I forget.
Anne-Marie. Band.
Anne-Marie.
Yep.
The way I understand it, at least at this level here, is you have a huge call position that's been in the books. I've been marketing the books for weeks now. So you have a huge call position, and the way I understand it is that most of them they're long, so they're in the money. 4,100 is a level, but really that whole level is a big area. Give or take 5-10 points on each side of 4,100. So you have a huge call position there. So assuming that the implied volatility helped them yesterday, okay, and some of them are in the money or close to in the money, or even if they're at the money, the implied volatility is giving them a profit. That a lot of them are starting to sell. So they're long, they're selling, which means the which means that if they're selling, that means the dealers are on the other side are buying. So they're long calls. They don't want to be long calls.
Mhm.
They get their algorithm set up so that they buy futures to hit the longs, and they sell futures to hedge their long position.
Right. So they
So
get
that puts pressure on the market as we move higher. Doesn't mean we're not going to move higher, because you might have very, very confident buyers of calls that are new players, okay? And which means the dealers are taking the other side of that in hedging. But by and large, when you have a large concentrated position up here, 4100-ish, you've got an awful lot of hedging activity on the part of dealers, and if these calls are long, that means the dealers are selling futures. So that puts pressure on the futures as we move higher. So they're selling in a strength, is what I'm saying. So that might be the case here today. You might not get a big move to the upside because of that.
because of all the hedging.
Exactly. The option market is a large, major factor, especially intraday now.
Of course.
It's the tail that wags the dog.
I'd like to add some comment on what may, something that may or may not happen here. So we've moved up higher, and we've formed a pretty good volume shoulder between 4,100 and 41, whatever the high is. And so there's that divot that's right around 4,100.
Mhm.
So we're coming into a new TPO in less than 5 minutes.
Mhm.
And what's that going to mean for this position? Because 4,100, my opinion is it's still a meaningful number right now.
Well, we pulled back and tried to test it in the last few minutes and didn't quite reach it. We got down to 4,150 cents.
Right, that's
So
what I'm
I'm
saying.
actually moving my stop up to, whoops, shit, wrong button. Moving my stop up to 4,100.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. So if we get a dip below it, especially if we have not yet taken out the 4 high, and the new TPO may take it out by 1 tick, which to me would be a failed breakout, or it just may match it and come off. And if it goes below 4,100, I don't know where your stop is, but I wouldn't leave it. Well, actually, I probably would. I don't manage trades the best sometimes.
I'm horrible at it.
I've gotten a lot more aggressive with trailing my stops because I've had so many trades go halfway to my profit target and retrace all the way back into my stops. So nowadays I'm protecting this much of what I got.
Spencer, and that's one reason, like when you see me on here, if you have that I go for a few points, because
As soon as I get 1-to-1, I move my stop to break even and make it a free trade.
it's pretty easy for me to be right for a move like that versus something that's going to be the range for the day.
I just moved our stop up to break even because we do have 2 numbers coming out at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
All right.
Move it down if your stop's there.
Move what down?
Your buy, your break-even number.
Well, I've got a buy stop. I've got a sell stop at my break even. We're long.
Oh, okay.
So I got the stop basically right where we got in.
Got it.
Because we do have a number coming out now, and I don't want to. I'm not that much into the market where I want to risk this.
Something else
Understood.
to watch is, a minute or so before the next TPO, all of a sudden there'll be a shift. People just bail out or something. So we might get a move back down to half back for the range of the day, or the open, which is the VPOC.
Mm-hmm.
And then that would mean the first candle for the day is a doji, if we do. So that's something to kind of be mindful of. So we're getting that right now.
We just got stopped out.
Yep, I just got stopped out.
It just reached down there and grabbed us. All
So
right.
There's no liquidity below us.
Thought you were playing the short side. I apologize.
No, yeah, we were long from the opening range. Okay, so we've got a couple of numbers coming out here.
lot of algos turn the machines off before the.
Yeah,
The dollar's just waning. Just,
dropping.
yeah.
So I wanted to see what happens with this poor high after that number shake.
Ooh, look at that.
Yeah. Okay.
It just took out a lot of liquidity at 05. It's now at
What a fill.
41.10. It pulled it.
Didn't like
All the
it.
liquidity is pulled above and below right now
Oh, wow.
because they don't know where it's going. So
No.
they don't get the scheme.
Oh, so far we failed back into the overnight range.
Mm-hmm.
But it's, for me, it's too, I almost would have jumped in, but it's too choppy for me right now. It could rip up back up just the same.
Yeah, we've got 20 to 30 contracts on each bid and offer.
What a fill. But the bottom of that opening range still held.
The Dow's breaking still.
It did, didn't it?
It's amazing. All the liquidity was pulled. Now they're starting to fill it back in.
All right, Randolph, what's next?
Dom's starting to stabilize.
Mm-hmm.
Just barcoding here.
Mm-hmm.
Liquidity at 96.
A low.
Not much.
He took VWAP out.
Yep.
Yeah. Uh-oh, there we go. Just killed the opening range.
Adios.
No more support there.
Back to VWAP, 93. I'm getting bad FOMO. I gotta relax.
Yeah, I FOMO'd a trade and it didn't work out. I shouldn't have done that.
I haven't learned how to trade the open yet.
It might be we've got excess on the bottom for the time being. So
Mhm.
if it gets back down to the IDVA, I'm gonna take it. I was a little slow on the uptake on that, but we've got a nice round shape of like a, value area here intraday.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Randolph.
Yeah.
Are you thinking because we've taken out VWAP, this is a resistance area now?
I'm short S&Ps.
You're short. Okay.
Yeah. Actually, I'm long the SH ETF,
Which is the short.
which is the inverse. Yeah.
Right.
So we're below VWAP and developing point controls intraday.
I'd really like to buy it right here, but I'm going to wait hopefully for a little bit
A
lower.
little bit less risk.
Yeah, but I you know what? Once it comes there, it's almost teetering on the edge where it may change its mind and keep going. But
I think the top is in for the day.
so right now, like if I had taken that, I mean, this is what I was expecting, like this move, and I'd be out. Like that'd be my trade, but it didn't. I was a little slow to put my entry in, and it didn't come back down to like 89.75. And now it's the second time, which second or third, it makes it a little less. Not as strong, but it'll be my first trade of the day, so it'll wake me up.
Little
Okay, I'm in now.
little cup of coffee.
89.75. Yeah, I'm in at 89.75.
Nice.
It went right away. Hopefully it'll come back up to.
Big band of liquidity at 95, 96. That's working in your favor then.
And
I don't know.
metals are just strong, man. Gold's up
Below
there.
development plan control, below VWAP, below that
Yeah.
liquidity.
Gold above 1809, my old address. Remember that
Silver was
Remember that apartment, Rick?
yesterday. Silver was up almost $1 an ounce.
Wow.
Yay.
Yeah, right. That's
Uh,
been a long time coming.
yeah, I know. I've been waiting for that for a while, but they did average on the way down, so still got a bunch.
Well, I'm not liking it's not going again.
Dollar's just breaking down. Gold and 10-year are following the train.
Yeah, and that's gonna help the metals.
Yeah, the dollar on the daily just broke out throughout the balance low.
Crude's up on a weak dollar.
Yeah, you need more dollars to buy the stocks.
The VIX is still low. Ben, you still in?
Yeah. I had to check something first. I got it now. So I was out at 92.75. So 89.75 to 19.75 and
Nice.
3 points.
Nice work.
Thank you. I'll give it back later. I'm just kidding. Oh.
Hey, Randolph, ever look at the UVXY?
UVXY.
Mortimer, sorry.
No.
That's a VIX ETF.
ETF.
I used to trade T-VIX before they shuttered that ETN. It was a VIX ETN. And back in 2019, I would literally just watch Trump's Twitter feed. When he started talking crap, I was on T-VIX.
Huh.
Yeah.
Like, he could tweet and the market would just have a fit.
The volatility goes through the roof.
Yeah. Like the VIX, it would be flat or it would be up, but it was never down on a Trump tweet storm. He never tweeted the VIX down. It was just a no-brainer.
Stop fail.
Oh,
There you go.
nuts.
You're short, John, right? Like 96, like we talked about.
No, actually, I was thinking about 93, the VWAP.
I was long with Ben.
I busted his chops.
Did we just close the gap? Or was there a gap?
There's no
There-
gap anymore.
There is a gap. There is just a couple of ticks. Well, let's see here. This is the micros.
Yesterday's point of control on the close.
Yeah, still a small gap.
Should have held my short with conviction, but it looked like it was finding support down there, so I went long.
And you said that you think the high is in.
I thought it was a good chance.
Indeed. Second guess myself.
I thought there was a chance.
40-50 is the next.
So you're saying there's a chance.
Well, at least temporarily. Gotta hedge my opinions.
Point of control around 4081-ish.
Rick, Chad, and you in YouTube is saying nice call. The market has turned a little bearish short term. Danny, are double distribution trend days common or just when a surprise tape bomb of the new info takes place? Double distribution trend days, I mean, it's usually there's some sort of a release that happens in the middle of the day that changes the perception of value. So you're in a balance, you drive to a new balance.
People got a little excited yesterday. Plus, I think a lot of shorts got caught. A little squeeze.
All right, so we've got the prior high day, value area high, volume point control at 82. It's a little bit of an area. It might be some overnight value area low, volume value area low.
Let's see if that point of control acts like a magnet or if we break through it.
There's the gap fill to the tick.
A lot of
Little
liquidity,
bounce.
83 and below.
I'm a little slow here. I was trying to buy that. Couldn't decide.
83 to 80, very thick.
If it comes back up from out of that value area high, I'm going to buy it on a buy stop entry.
From yesterday's.
Yeah, at 83 half. That's what I have.
Got it.
The volume value area high.
Uh-huh.
All right, I'm in. I got filled at 84 quarter. Let's see if I can get a bounce here. Not a great fill. Probably going for those swing lows.
Over here.
I went short at 87 and a quarter when it pulled back up a little bit a couple minutes ago.
Nice.
Okay, I'm stopped. I got stopped out. So
Okay. Second
Low
standard.
tick reading in the morning, just now.
Oh, is it? Well, what is it?
Minus 543, and the ad line just put in a new one. So
So not overly aggressive.
Found some buyers down there at 76.
yeah, there was a lot of liquidity there. It's gone now.
Tape flashed green for a few seconds, and now it's all mixed again.
I like this area to try another shot, even though I know they're going for the overnight low at some point. But they also
71 to 75
is splashing down, so
Hey,
contrarian, I guess.
There it
Rick-
goes, it broke.
Rick, you got a fan. Melanie Shapiro says she's Team Rick. Randolph. Now here's the overnight low.
Wow. We got our big move finally.
Hmm.
Okay, well, it's also the back end trade, but it might be another flash down.
Did you get it? Oops.
Yeah,
Yeah.
72 half. But we'll see.
I'm going to peel one contract off here.
Order filled.
Waterfield.
So we're gonna have a new 15-minute bar in 2 minutes, which might provide some retracement.
I joined you just to give it a shot here.
John, when you trade your own book, do you trade the opens?
Typically, no. Because it's been a really horrible period for the opening range trade. And I have a theory about why. The more people that look at it, the more people that trade it, the less likely it is to be successful.
Right.
So you get a whole bunch of people that notice it's paying, and everybody piles in on it, and then eventually the more people that recognize it and pile in on it, the less likely it is to succeed. So then it won't work for a while, and then when all the short time frame traders abandon it, then it'll come in and start to play out again.
Order filled.
But recognizing when it is that that your competitors are going to bail in on it, bail out on it is hard to read.
Getting a nice little bounce now.
Oh, I don't know that I'm gonna get out here, but at 876 looks like a nice area to get out, but then because there's low volume above it. But,
I close my short. I'll sell down on this pullback maybe if it touches 76.
just gonna watch this 15-minute candle and see if it,
Everything's in the red now.
It went up and just kind of bounced off the second standard deviation of anchored VWAP.
See, this is why I try and be very patient in this context, because I feel like this market could come all the way back down to here and still remain longer time frame bullish.
yeah. Yeah, it's kind of the Wild West.
Yep.
Where do you have the top of that low volume node, John, that we put in yesterday? I know it depends on where you draw your line.
So from here to here, right?
Yeah.
I'm kind of viewing the breakout of L period that just continued through M period as the base of the late spike. So right around 40, 44 half.
I got you. So you'd be looking for a long run in that area.
I'm going to look for the market to put some sort of day time frame structure there before I'm going to jump in front of a move to the downside like this.
And that's pretty much the way you trade in your own book.
Yeah, when there's a late,
You're usually trading after the IB's put in.
typically, yeah, I mean I'm probably more successful after that IB is put in. And that's been ever since I started learning about the profile. The initial balance has been very important.
Yeah.
So now we're getting to the M breakout.
Yeah, we're going to get that late spike retest after all.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you retest the 40-50.
The problem is this whole day is a late spike all the way down to here. I mean, it never found really any balance all the way up, except for here.
All you do is sell it against the opening top, you know? Hindsight's 20/20.
Oh yeah, of course. The point of control, the TPO point of control is all the way down here, because we spent all the time before Powell started speaking down here. So that's why the TPO point of control is down right here. But you got volume point of control that moved all the way up to the top with all the volume that we put in.
Good girl.
So how do you weight those, John?
Well, because the market's out of balance, I'm not really looking at either of them. But because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, it's really not all that prominent. It may come into play in future sessions.
What do you think of the argument that Stoudemire developed the profile concept before you had the kind of technology that we have today to track volume? Otherwise, he would have had a volume profile and we never would have heard about it, GPO.
No.
Think of that.
Right. Yeah. When the market's out of balance like this, I put a lot more focus on the volume profile.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking for the high volume nodes and low volume nodes.
Gotcha.
Hey, Joe, you got bookmap up. How's the liquidity look around 60, 62 area where we just bounced?
Heavy liquidity between 62 and 59.
Okay.
And 67, 69 above us.
Yeah, we just bounced off of that too.
Algos are working overtime here between.
I want to take another short, but I just don't know how much farther this is going to go.
Right? I mean, this is sort of a long opportunity right here. Because it's the base of the M spike.
And the top of that low volume.
Top of the low volume node, right.
depending on where you draw it.
I'm gonna cover the inverse, SHs, inverse S&Ps if it gets around 40, 50.
Nice trade. You're buying tonight.
Yeah,
For all of us.
Mm-hmm. We're all going over to Rick's house.
everybody gets a Happy Meal.
I don't drink anymore, so you can save money on me.
Yeah, we get you a Diet Coke.
Yeah, I had to cut back. I was starting to get a beer gut.
Yeah, that liquidity is staying in the books.
Looks like support.
They'll pull it from time to time.
Every time we, oh, there it goes.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, every time we touch 62, the tape flushes green, but this time it broke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they traded right through it.
Yeah. That's why if you're looking long, be patient.
Keep buying this dip. It's just gonna keep going.
Mm-hmm. Well, we've got delta in the direction. So delta is congruent with direction. We're negative 4,000. So there's little indication of longer time frame traders being directional in this. Well, a couple of shots here. Nice job, Rick. You got some fans now.
You gonna play Tom Petty some free falling?
Well, I'm not too sure how far this is going to free fall.
40, 50.
We may have to play The Wind Beneath My Wings later on. But I do have to go. I apologize for that.
Well, thanks, John.
Thank you, everybody.
Guys,
Joe, everybody, Ben, Joe, Rick, Randolph, Spencer. It was good to hear from you today. Trade well, everyone.
yep.
Okay. Thanks,
Stay
guys.
safe out there, guys. See you later.
See ya. Have a good one, guys.